I tried beating Terraria using the Herbalist class. The Cobler mod, which contains this class, adds a ton of brand new plants into the game that can be forged, grown, composted, and dare I say recycled into brand new armor, weapons, and accessories never before seen in Terraria. Will I be able to beat the game as a master vegan? Well, let's find out. I started off by spawning into the world, getting myself an empty rune, and opening up my starter bag. I consumed my life crystals, all of my mana stars, and then set out on an adventure to find as many plants as I could. I checked out all the various different weapons from this mod, and I realized that the very first weapon we were going to really need to get is the Rusted Leaf, which requires us 3 sticks, 5 wind root, and 5 earth mist. Essentially, these are all plants that we can get at the very start of the game before actually even defeating any bosses, and for every boss that we defeat, we manage to get ourselves a scroll that unlocks a whole new set of plants into the game, helping us craft brand new weapons. The sticks also just came from zombies throughout the nighttime, from what I went with back and forth with the creator of the mod, because he didn't have a wiki up for this, so I had to spend hours and hours of trial and error to actually see what dropped what, so that was a bit of a pain, Mr. Mod Developer, but I really like your mod, so it was whatever. Essentially, we also needed a living loom for everything that we want to craft, so I just had to pray that my world had one. Spoiler alert, our world did not have a living loom whatsoever. I went to go explore some caves, and I actually managed to get myself a decent amount of HP. I came back home and crafted myself a anvil, a furnace, a loom. I put down a bunch of chests, organized them, made 2 NPC houses, and then went back down into the caverns to mine up more ore. We managed to get ourselves tons of iron, tons of platinum. We managed to get a spawn for the Eye of Cthulhu, and during this time I also figured out how you can actually find plants, which was literally just by breaking grass or just like mining random stuff from trees, and the plants would just drop, so that was pretty interesting. By this point, I did try to summon in and fight the king slime, but I still did not really know how to get sticks. Like, I at this point knew that okay, I can break some grass to get the right plants, and that might help me craft this Rusted Leaf that I so badly want to craft, which was like a semi-melee weapon, so I don't even know if this is worth it honestly by this point. But yeah, I just went out of my way to break as much stuff as I can. I think I got myself all the plants I really needed, but then I could not find how to get the sticks. After just a bunch of trial and error, I went to go explore the jungle, made myself like a mini elevator, added more houses to my town, and then just like during the nighttime as I was killing zombies, I actually managed to get myself some sticks, meaning that we can finally craft at least some type of weapon from the Herbalist class. Now, so to my surprise, I couldn't really get all of the sticks that I needed, so I could not craft the Rusted Leaf, which actually was a sword that I needed to craft other weapons from the Herbalist class, so that kind of sucked. But you will not believe what happened. As I was messing around the jungle, I did manage to find a chest that, yes, boyos, actually had the Rusted Leaf sword within the chest, meaning we don't have to craft it. Hooray. That was pretty cool. We ended up getting the Rusted Leaf, and now we could move on to getting some of the other mana weapons from the Herbalist class before fighting any more bosses. I made myself a massive arena as I came back to spawn, and then decided to challenge the Eye of Cthulhu. Using the Rusted Leaf, we actually managed to take it out somehow. Like, I really don't know how I took it out with this horrible melee weapon, but hey, we're staying true to the Herbalist class, and you're not gonna see me cheat this playthrough. We were almost at max HP by this point, and as it was still nighttime, I went to go farm out some more zombies so I can try to get myself more sticks, and I actually did manage to get some, so that was very, very surprising. I built myself a bunch more NPC houses, completely messed them up, but hey, who cares? I mean, as long as the NPCs are gonna live in there, it's all fine. Then I went over to the Skylands to try to farm myself some harpy eggs, because I needed that for some reason. I think it was like some type of accessory that I wanted, which was a part of the rune crafting process, which is a whole different, separate, long other part of this mod that I do not even want to get into. This mod is so in depth, it was absolutely crazy. Let's just stick to the one class that we have. I got myself to full HP by going mining and picking up a bunch of life crystals, and I also picked up myself a bunch of various different ores so we can craft new runes, and I made myself a legil pickaxe. I don't really know how to pronounce this, I frankly do not, but we made a brand new pickaxe, and this was very OP. I think it was actually able to mine out hellstone before we even defeated the Eater of Worlds or the Brain of Cthulhu. So Mr. Mod Developer, fix your stuff, because look, I'm cheesing this playthrough. Using the Rusted Leaf, I went into the corruption and decided to challenge the Eater of Worlds. Like, yes, I guess I could have got myself full hellstone armor, but I didn't want to cheese it too hard. So after I defeated the Eater of Worlds using the Rusted Leaf, I decided to come back to spawn, go over to the jungle, get myself some plants. And as I came back to spawn, I went down to the desert to try and find another set of plants that only appeared in the desert. So there was like all these plants were in so many different categories. So for example, you'd have one plant that would just like randomly drop as you're mining in sand. You'd have another plant that would drop from like grass, another plant that would drop from trees. And there were so many different variables and just like so many random ways to get these plants. And it was very annoying because very specific plants dropped from very specific circumstances. And a lot of these plants were extremely rare, making it take absolutely ages to even acquire them. And that's why this playthrough took me like 20 hours. But that's besides the point. Yeah, I went to go farm out tons of plants during this time. While at spawn, I actually managed to craft myself a brand new Herbalist class melee weapon called a Convergence. And this is going to come in handy when fighting more harder bosses. And then so after this, I went over to Skeletron's dungeon and decided to challenge Skeletron. Using the Convergence, I did almost take him out, but then sadly it turned to daytime and he ended up demolishing me. By this point, I had to get serious, boyos. I wasn't making much progress, and frankly, there was a whole nother set of weapons that we could acquire from the Herbalist class that I haven't been using to this point. So there are these melee weapons that you can use, but along with this, the Herbalist class also has spells that actually shoot plants. So I decided to go out of my way, get all the materials to craft a leash book. Do you want to guess what this does? Well, it shoots out leaves. As expected, that was pretty cool. I wasn't too surprised. I went to go fight the queen bee and I took it out. Then after it turned to nighttime, I went to go fight Skeletron and we took him out. I went out of my way to get myself some water candles, and as we got a ton of water candles, I decided to go back to the desert, farm out even more sand so we can try to get this special plant. I'm very sorry, I generally forget like what all the plants are called, but I think it'd be boring anyways for you guys to like literally know every single plant. It's like, oh yes, I went to the desert and collected river fig, arfries, nage, like this stuff doesn't matter, boyos. Look, you get the main point. Plants, blue plants, red plants, go burr, give you good damage. Let's go. After this, I went to go get some wood just for no reason whatsoever. And then I went back to mining in order to get myself even more plants. I decided to challenge the deer clops just because I wanted to. And so we took out the deer clops. After I came back to spawn, I actually crafted myself a brand new tome book called the Pure Heart, which was like kind of like a whip, like a magic whip. I did not know how this worked, but it was really good and it dealt a lot of damage. And the next boss I had to go fight was the deer clops, because if I wanted to summon in brand new plants into my world, I had to go fight the deer clops. Yeah, this mod was annoying, but I guess it gave me like a brand new opportunity to fight new bosses that I usually don't fight. So I came back to spawn, summoned in, and fought the deer clops, and then I got myself a brand new spell, which helped me summon in more plants into the world. After this, I went to go pick up the meteorite, which is on the right side of my world, and then I came right back to spawn. By this point, I had myself a full set of molten armor, runes that helped me deal more magic damage in my accessory slots. The only boss left now was the wall of flesh, so I went to go down to the underworld and I made a massive arena, got myself a guide voodoo doll, and after I had all the buff potions buffed up, chucked the guide voodoo doll into the lava and absolutely demolished the wall of flesh using the Pure Heart and the Convergence. Yeah, that was like the only two Herbalist class weapons I had. It was a little bit sad, but do bear with me please, it does get better. After the wall of flesh was defeated, I went to go break a bunch of demon altars, blessing our world with palladium, mithril, and titanium. Then I went through the whole pickaxe progression of getting myself a palladium pickaxe, mithril anvil, and then getting titanium to make myself a bunch of armor. After the wall of flesh, we also got a brand new scroll that let a bunch of new plants grow within the world, so that was pretty epic. But now the next scroll that we're gonna only obtain is after defeating all the mechanical bosses, so we have to get the best weapons up until this point, which was after the wall of flesh. Let's go and grind, boyos. I went to go mine a little bit more titanium after I came back to spawn because I still didn't have enough to get full titanium armor, and then I went to go do the plethora of random things that gave us plants. So I had to chop down like literally the entire world to get this one certain plant that only dropped from trees, so that was pretty cool. And then randomly the twins just spawned in. Me being literally not ready whatsoever, I got completely made fun of and died, dealing no damage to the twins. I could see that we needed a massive level up if we wanted to challenge any mechanical boss. I went to go farm out more titanium. I got myself souls of night, souls of light. I went to go over to the Sky Islands to try and farm out some souls of flight and harpies so we can get a giant harpy feather. And once I had all of this, I crafted myself a pair of harpy wings, but we still needed an upgrade to our weapon before we could really defeat any of the bosses. Once it turned to nighttime, I wanted to go challenge the mechanical bosses. I had all the summons, but I genuinely thought I was still underpowered. But that was a limiting belief on my end, because as soon as I summoned in the destroyer and used the Pure Heart, which is like the right armor and accessories, we absolutely blasted through this boss. I next summoned in the twins, absolutely demolished both of the twins, and then even took out Skeletron Prime in that one same night. Bear in mind, mind, the Pure Heart is a weapon that we got in pre-hard mode and that we used to take out the Wall of Flesh. So I don't know what's up with this weapon, but it was very overpowered. Now that we took out Skeletron Prime, the jungle grows restless. Do you know what happens when the jungle grows restless? That is right. Boio makes a funny joke. Go burr. Just subscribe, please. My subscribers are going down real fast. So, just like help me out. Anyways, we went over to the jungle, picked up a bunch of chlorophyte. Once we got chlorophyte and I was rich and green like Shrek, I decided to come back to spawn and craft myself a full set of turtle armor. Once I had full turtle armor, I really don't know why I got turtle armor. I went to go fight the queen slime because that was just like one thing that we needed to do in order to get the next scroll. We fought her. I got the next scroll, which let more plants spawn in. I really do not like all these bosses that I have to fight unnecessarily, but I guess you gotta do what you gotta do. Upon getting that next scroll, I upgraded some of my accessories, refought all the mechanical bosses because apparently we did not get the scroll from the mechanical bosses because we forgot to take out the queen slime. And then after this, I crafted myself a brand new set of weapons, finally making us just literally deadly overpowered. The first thing I crafted was the burning timbers, which was this absolutely wonderful sword that literally healed us as we dealt damage to mobs. And then we crafted another weapon called the Whisper Song, which shot out these like puffs of fart, and that was very interesting to see, but it was very powerful, so I'm not complaining. Our next boss was Plantaria, so I went over to the jungle, and actually earlier I did manage to find Plantaria's bulb, so all I had to do was dig out a tiny arena, and then we summoned her in and absolutely demolished her using our weapons. I mean, like, the burning timbers is just like next level weapon. It took Plantaria out extremely quickly, and we literally were on max HP, and after this I just went straight to fight Golem. We took out Golem extremely quickly as well, and this is where the Herbalist class just got absolutely like crazy overpowered. We had to go and take out Duke Fishron because, you know, spells and plants, and I have to like get the spells if I want to get new plants and better weapons. So that was kind of a pain. We summoned in Duke Fishron. We died, and then I actually took him out, and then I got the scroll and had to go fight Golem again because I didn't get the scroll from the other time I fought Golem because I fought Duke Fishron before. Boom, we fought Golem and got ourselves beetle armor, getting ourselves beetle wings, and then I decided to challenge the solar eclipse because I think we needed broken hero swords for like a certain type of sword. And so using like the Pure Heart, using the burning timber sword, we took out the solar eclipse, leaving us with not much left before we actually finished this entire mod. After this, I crafted myself a brand new weapon called the Prickle, and then another mage weapon called the Night Kiss. The next boss we had to go fight was the Empress of Light if we wanted to make any progress on our scrolls and the plants that spawn into the world. So that's what I went to go do. And once again, as with Duke Fishron, I usually don't fight the Empress of Light. So I died and died and died until I did not die and I took her out. And yeah, this was a very long and brutal process because I completely forget the Empress of Light's attacks, and so just like relearning everything on the spot was just a massive pain. But hey, look, this is normal mode. It's not even master mode, bro. Like, come on. I need to get good. After this, I went to go fight the Lunatic Cultist, and that was extremely easy. Once we defeated him, I decided to go challenge the Solar Pillar. Then I went to go take out the Nebula Pillar. I went to go take out the Stardust Pillar, and then the Vortex Pillar last. I bought myself a bunch of buff potions, buffed up, and went straight in to fight Moonlord using the Prickler Sword, which like healed us as we hit the Moonlord. So we were like on full HP for half of the boss fight. We took out his hands, took out his eye, and then took out his core super easily. Like, the end of the Herbalist class was absolutely overpowered. Took out the Moonlord and beat Terraria as a master vegan. If you want to see more videos on this Cobler class, there's so many more different things in this mod. Be sure to check out another video like this on screen. Drop a like on the video. If this video gets 5,000 likes, I'll definitely redo some type of class within the Cobler mod. Loads of fun. Consider subscribing to the channel if you're new. This has been Boio. Peace out.